Some trees are a long way from the shelter. So, whilst it's quite nice being near a shelter and actually having a sit down toilet, as it were, some trees are a long way away. This one's about 150 yards away. And there she be with a veranda. They are replacing privies along here, so that must be potentially the old privy. But it's quite away from the shelter, and we're tenting quite away from the shelter itself. Good morning, day 131. Interesting day today. We have a couple of options, all dependent upon underfoot conditions. We've got a planned sort of 13 mile, but we could, and then that leaves us the following day 4 miles to get into town, or we could just do the full 17 miles, but it all depends on what the underfoot conditions are like. But yeah, last 2 nights in Maine, maybe this is Maine weather, I don't know, or maybe it's just because we're up high. Very cold at night, very cool, in the 50s. So if that's what it's to be, that's what it's to be. But yeah, well worth having my 20-degree down fleece, because that was quite handy. Right, just negotiating some downhill rocks, and we did traverse a couple of rivers yesterday that you could see would have been far more difficult to traverse across, with a lot more water in them, and you could see the debris. So I think we were quite lucky there. There's a big one coming up, 100 feet across or something, Bemis. So we'll see what that is today. But yeah, day 131. We're well into Maine. Everybody thinking about the 100-mile wilderness, everyone thinking about Katahdin. I'm trying really hard to think about today and the weather for today. One thing that's also very obvious, you get into Maine, very little cell reception anywhere. Had a little bit at the top of some of the hills, some of the mountains, sorry, but very little cell reception. Very, very noticeable. But anyway, let's see where the day takes us. This is Bemis Creek. Had tales of people getting across waist deep and so forth. But we're making our way upstream to cross where there are fallen branches, fallen trees, to hopefully make it much easier for us. Okay. So we came across these, but as you can see from the debris, definitely there'll be a lot of water. Inside of the guardrail there are loads and loads of stickers, mainly climbing related. Of course nobody would see unless you were climbing. And then we get to these little vertical pieces. I think people have themselves manufactured them in. No, it's the one of the drivers for me in doing this trail, one of the side impacts of it is I'm raising money for cancer research. In the notes on every video, if you just scroll down a bit before watching a video, and also at the end of every video there's a little screenshot. There is a link to justgiving.com/fundraising /Englishman just walking. And there you'll see a little story about my circumstances as to why I have raised money for cancer research for 40 years. And the link gives everybody a chance to make just a small contribution. If you've enjoyed my videos, then very kind of you. But I'd be humbled, immensely appreciative if you could make a contribution. I've set myself quite a stiff target of how much to raise. Pretty close to 2,000 miles, so injury notwithstanding, I should get there. So please, make a contribution. It can be small, it can be large, it doesn't really matter. Just a contribution, and that'd be really good. I haven't talked about this before because I didn't think it was the right time to talk about it, or I'm only 500 miles into the walk and you don't even know if we're going to complete it or not. But I think now is a reasonable time for me to say to people, I'm raising money, please help. Yeah. Everyone getting water. Had quite a downpour, which changes the trail. This bit's undercover a bit, but just puts a lot of water on the trail, which means there's more mud, which means things are slippery. But you should be able to hear it. This was our first choice for today. We arrived here at 2 o'clock, had something to eat, So we're going to make our way to the highway, 4.8 miles, and go into Rangeley. Coming down out of the woods towards the road crossing, suddenly give us an open spot. A lot of trees chopped down, but an incredible view. Wow. Sort of a bouncy pine carpet finish to the day. We got to our plan A campsite at about 2 o'clock, and to get to the road and go to another campsite was another 5 miles, so it's coming up for 4 o'clock, so averaged a good 2.5 miles an hour for the last bit, but it has been reasonable terrain. Not many uphills like this little one, but predominantly a downhill walk. And a beautiful afternoon, having rained earlier. That cleared out a little bit of heat, but it has meant that quite a few things are a bit slipperier than they were.
Food store on the right.